Welcome back to the Confident Dollar Podcast. Excited to have you guys back. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's been a little bit of time between getting these recorded. I took some time off during the holidays. My kids were off school and just wanted to take some time off to be with them and, do that refresher ready to start the new year. So we're back recording and have some good topics, I think, lined up for kind of the first part of the year to get us set and ready and moving forward for a successful 2024 with money. I'm starting today. We're going to talk about mastering your money mindset for your financial freedom. So I would assume you've heard money mindset being talked about or thrown around recently, as it's definitely been more of a trend when it comes to talking about money than I think previously. It's like you can have all the information in the world about what you should do with your money and still not do it. And it's like, okay, why? Like where is that coming from? Why is that happening? I have the knowledge. Why can't I actually pull the trigger and get this done and get my finances in order? Well, it's because we all have a mindset around money, predisposition, belief system about money and how it affects us and how we relate to it. So it's become this new thing lately that I've seen a lot more is addressing your money mindset and figuring out how do you relate to money? What do you believe about money? What do you believe about yourself and relationship with money? In order to understand how to actually be more successful with managing your money and meet your long-term goals. So again, today on the Confident Dollar Podcast, we are talking about your money mindset, the impact of money mindset on your finances, and how to assess your money mindset. So we're going to get into all of that. So thank you for joining. And I hope this is helpful for you as we kind of dive into this information. So impact of mindset on your money choices. Again, if knowledge was the only thing you needed to get this done, more people would be doing it, right? I mean, it's the same thing with eating healthy. Like we know we need to eat healthy. We know it's important. We know it's important for our bodies, for our life, for our longevity. But then when the yummy thing's in front of us, we want to eat it and it's kind of like, never mind, forget it for right now, right? And then those can lead and stack and build habits that are unhealthy. And the same thing comes with money. Like, I'm sitting, if you're listening to this, what you probably should be doing, at least a little bit with your money. Maybe you don't know every step clearly, but you know a little bit. But you're not doing what you should be doing because it's hard to break out of the unhealthy cycle into the healthy cycle. Sometimes those first steps are the hardest. But a lot of that is just understanding why you view it that way. Getting past that first step is understanding yourself and what you view and what you believe. So our relationship with money is complex. It's been influenced by a lot of things. It's influenced by our culture and what we see, what we take in all the time. And when we take in so much information, we take in so much information we don't need. What other people are doing, how other people are spending, the cars they buy, the houses they buy. Our relationship with money is influenced by our beliefs, how we grew up, our experiences. It's shaped our lifestyle and our well-being and our view of money and our relationship with money. So it's kind of like, let's unwind that. Let's back up a bit and see, how were you raised? What did you hear talked about money? And how has that impacted you to this point when it comes to your financial goals? Because saving money isn't just about building wealth. It's about having financial freedom, which means, financial freedom is just like that peace of mind of knowing you are where you should be. And whatever those goals are for you. And that's going to look different for everybody. Having like security or just having just endless opportunities and things that you've been striving for. So Forbes actually noted that early experiences with money, such as just witnessing an argument about money, can trigger emotions or anxiety or resentment that you actually carry out through your life. So if you witnessed your parents arguing about money, or maybe it was a lot of like, we can't afford that, we can't afford that, we can't afford that, and maybe you did grow up with not much money or with a single mom who worked multiple jobs just to be able to afford to make ends meet. Those are things you carry throughout your life, and that's shaped how you view money. So it's really important to understand how you personally view money. And if you're married, it's especially also important to understand how your spouse views money, because money is a team effort. And if you don't understand each other and what you're playing with, basically, you're going to have a whole lot harder time reaching those goals. So you need to understand yourself, take some time to understand yourself, and, help understand your spouse and what they believe as well, how they were raised, what their thoughts are. So let's dive into a little bit of your mindset, understanding your money mindset. And I would say there's a kind of some questions or phrases I'm just going to pose to you of for you to think on and see how this, what you think about these specific things. So what do you think you can and cannot do with your money? Okay, think on that. How much money do you think you deserve? A lot, a little, kind of answer that question. How do you believe you should manage your money? Are you, we've heard this, I'm a saver, I'm a spender, or some people are just super, they're givers, they love to share. What defines you? What would you say you are? Are you a saver or are you a spender? I've seen a lot of marriages and I feel like it's you have the clean one and you have the not clean one. I feel like a lot of times that is in marriage. It's you have the saver, you have the spender. One of you is probably one and your spouse is probably the other. So which one are you? And being none of these, or being one specific one of these is not better than the other. I would actually say all have their positives and negatives, because you're going to really tilt one way or the other, and the other way makes you uncomfortable. But understanding where you land there is an important thing to know. How do you believe you should manage your debt? What is your ability to grow your wealth? Do you think you have that ability? Do you think you deserve it? Do you think you can do it? And what is your overall financial confidence when it comes to you managing your money? So they're kind of good places to start and think through when it comes to kind of trying to understand yourself and your money mindset. The other thing I would say, kind of the two groups of people, and this isn't just with money, this is outside of money as well, is there's two different mindsets that you can have in life, right? And you've probably heard it, so this is not going to be a surprise, but you're going to have a scarcity mindset mentality, or you're going to have a abundance mentality. So again, which one are you? Which one do you lean towards? And maybe specifically, this is different depending on what subject you're talking about. So when it comes to money, which one do you specifically lean toward? And again, neither of these, I would say scarcity is going to obviously trend more negative most of the time, but it doesn't mean that abundance doesn't have a few drawbacks you need to be careful of as well. So there are, again, some positives to both and negatives, or a lot of positives to both. Positives to the abundance mindset specifically. There are still some positives to scarcity mindset too. It doesn't necessarily mean it's completely all negative. So that's something to be aware of. If you're one or the other, it doesn't mean everything's bad if you're so negative if you're a scarcity mindset, but you're going to struggle thinking through some things when it comes to money. So you need to understand, where do you fit when it comes to abundance or scarcity? So scarcity being money is lacking. You believe in hindered growth. You don't think you deserve things. You're gonna have a hard time getting things, and you just don't think there's that much money. There's just not that much money out there. There's never enough money. You don't have enough money. It's too hard to make money. There's not that much possibilities of making money. You're just scarcity, right? You just don't think there's that much options for making money, or you don't feel like you have enough money. Where abundance mindset is, you believe there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of resources. There's a lot of money that's circulating, and you can get that money because there's a lot of opportunities to get that money. So you have this abundance mindset when it comes to money. And this is something that you can have if you own a business as well and you're trying to get clients, right? There's not a lot of clients and there's too much competition, or there's a lot of people to go around, and we can all have our share because we all attract something different. So this carries over to different parts of our life, but you need to understand how you view it when it comes to money in your mind. And knowing this about yourself and knowing where you fall in these categories will help you understand how it's impacting your decision making when it comes to money, or when it comes to job opportunities, when it comes to making money. A negative mindset around money is going to lead to unhealthy habits and cycles of debt and just affecting your overall well-being, anxiety, stress around money, right? Because you have this negative mindset all the time. It's never good. It's always bad. And sometimes that's even because you think money's bad, because you think you shouldn't have that much money, that money is the root of all evil, that money is bad, which is not necessarily true. Money is not good. Money is not bad. Money is neutral. You can do bad things with money. And money and the love of money will absolutely affect your life. But money is actually a neutral tool. So I just want to make that point too, because I do think there's people that are stuck in a cycle of money that they feel like it's negative about money because they've kind of grown up in this way of thinking that money is actually bad and too much money is bad. And that's not true. That is not true. Money is neutral. You can do good things with money, and you can do great things with a lot of money, and you can do bad things with a lot of money. but money in and of itself is not bad. So see how that negative mindset could really affect you. If that's what you believe and that's what you thought, you'd actually be self-limiting because you don't even want to get to a point where you have a lot of money because you think it's bad and it's going to corrupt you and it's going to corrupt your kids and it's going to corrupt everyone around you. So do you have a negative mindset about money, or do you have a positive mindset about money? Do you have a positive mindset that thinks you can learn from your mistakes, that you can change how you view money, that you see potential growth opportunities and you're aware of the opportunities that come with money and being financially sound? So do you have that positive outlook about money? So we've gone through a few so far. Go through those questions. Are you scarcity? Are you abundance mindset? Are you positive? Are you negative when it comes to money? Again, if you overly trend all positive, you're going to also have some issues you have to work through too. So it doesn't mean you're the better person in this. If you're listening to this, you're better off. You're going to be better off in certain areas, but you're going to have some things you also have to work through. Just like if you're scarcity and negative, there are things that you are actually probably really good at. And I'm going to assume it's going to be saving, that you're a good saver, but you are going to have to work through some things to get, come back towards that middle a little bit. So here's a few more good questions to ask about money. Okay. So we're working through where you land, and you're going to be on the spectrum somewhere, one or the other. You might not be, all the way this way or all the way that way. So here's some questions to ask yourself. What influences your belief about money the most? Is it your upbringing? Is it your friends you currently hang out with? Is it your belief structure? Is it, what influences your belief about money the most? I'm sure you've heard, and I'm not gonna be able to quote the exact statistics on this, but the people we hang around are very important in this aspect, really life in general, but also when it comes to how you, and again, I don't know the exact numbers, but I remember seeing that there's like these crazy things about if you hang out with high performers, you perform, maybe 15% better than you would have. And if you hang out with low performers, you perform like 30% lower than you would have. And again, don't quote me on those exact percentages, but basically showing the power, the study showing the power of who you surround yourself with and how it impacts your life. So is that impacting your money beliefs too? How do you feel about spending money? Do you get anxiety over spending money? Are you super relaxed about spending money? Is every time you have to make a purchase, you're this grips your heart a little bit, or not, or you don't feel that? Do you feel like money boosts your self-esteem or causes feelings of insecurity? Does it make you excited, or do they make you anxious? Do you have a history of making good financial decisions? Or if not, why do you think? Do you make a lot of mistakes financially? When it comes to addressing money, do you hesitate to address money? You don't really want to think about it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to deal, or, you're happy to talk about it. Let's say you loaned someone money. Okay. Would you keep the friendship over demanding a repayment? Or are you someone who's like, I don't care. They don't pay me. They're not my friend ever again. So, how would that situation? Are you someone who's prone to impulse buying, instant, retail therapy, emotional spending? And do you buy something because it's just on sale, but you didn't need it at all? If you came across that, how would you react? Okay. So some questions I want you to think through and answer when it comes to, what do you think about money? Okay. Hopefully kind of trying to think through some of these things, you're starting to see the trends of where you fall and what you believe about money. So these are going to how you view this, how you view money in these capacities are going to really shape a lot of your money decisions. And it's going to, in one way or the other, cause some barriers when it comes to saving money. Okay. So we're oversavers, we're overspenders, we're undersaving, we're somewhere right in those realms. And there's psychological traits that are really going to possibly hold you back, that are going to come from your money mindset. So they stem from your money mindset. Your money mindset is setting the foundation basically for these traits that you might have one or all or a few of these things that you struggle with. Okay. So as I talk through these, I want you to kind of star the ones you're like, yeah, that's hard for me. Okay. First one, instant gratification. Are you someone that struggles with instant gratification? I decided I want that and I'm going to buy it now. I like that top and I'm immediately ordering it, or whatever it might be, right? Are you someone that's like, it's instant gratification or nothing? You go into the month not even knowing what you're going to spend your money on, because it really depends on what you come across. Okay. That is one. Next one, FOMO. Do you struggle with FOMO? You did set goals for saving. You do know what you want to do, and you're not necessarily instant gratification, but like all your friends are going out or all your friends are going on a trip and you really want to join. It is not in your budget and you can't afford it, but you're not going to miss out on it because everyone's going. FOMO. Does that one affect you? The next one, I would say, it affects most people, is lifestyle inflation. And this is a mix between two different things. So lifestyle inflation is where as you make more money, you spend more money. And so you never really actually get to be in a better place. You're still paycheck to paycheck, even though you make a ton of money. And that is actually really common. There are very wealthy people who make a lot of money every year who are still paycheck to paycheck because they have not addressed lifestyle inflation. And there's kind of two sides to this. There's an element of lifestyle inflation that's going to be necessary, right? Like if you have extreme money goals and you've experienced having to be extreme saver and you're on a very strict budget, you're going to inflate your lifestyle because you need to inflate your lifestyle as you make more money once you reach certain goals, because that type of lifestyle wasn't like, it's not realistic long-term, right? Like, so that's okay. Like you can't say an unrealistic budget. You can scrap and save and get down there when you're in the serious, like grind of it. But when you come out of it, specifically people who are getting out of debt, right? You go scrap, save, super tight budget to get yourself out of debt. And once you come out of debt and you are a little bit better at spending your money, you're going to increase maybe how much you eat out, or you might add some things. As long as you don't go crazy and go back into debt, you need to increase your lifestyle a little bit. That's totally fine. But the other one is you don't even know really what you spend. And just as you make more money, it's like, cool, well, because I want this lifestyle, so I'm going to keep adding this. And so that can really affect a lot of people because you make more money and you don't actually get anywhere. You don't have anything to show for the fact that you make more money because your lifestyle is inflated so much, mostly because you just care about how it looks to the outside. So that's going to be an issue. And then procrastination. Last one to talk about would just be procrastination. Are you someone that just is like, I don't know, I'll do it later. I'm not ready to start yet. I don't want to start yet. You just put it off. You don't want to deal with it. It's too much to think about. So you just procrastinate to a later time. Which one of those, or which ones of those, do you feel like you struggle with more than the other? And then it's like figuring out, okay, how do you break free from those? What are ways that like, you struggle with these things, but how do you get out of that? Okay. If I know I'm scarcity mindset who loves to save and spending makes me nervous, so how do I adjust my mindset to change how I view money, right? It's going to be a few things you're going to have to do. It's not an overnight change, but it's just knowing that about yourself so you can frame the decision through that lens of, am I just being, here's the decision I'm trying to make about a job. Am I just thinking I can't do this because I'm just limited beliefs about myself, or am I being realistic because this is not what I'm cut out to do? I don't want to do it, right? So it's just being able to run those decisions through that lens of understanding where you're starting from. So I would say there's a few tips for just especially those last few things we just talked about that stem from your money mindset. How do you kind of break through some of those? So one, your instant gratification, if that's you need to figure out how to tie your hands up, sit on your hands, basically, like the kid in school, because who keeps hitting, and delay your gratification. Okay, you want something and you want something, but you've set a rule for yourself that you were going to wait 2 weeks. Man, that sounds like a really long time for some of you. I'm going to wait 2 weeks to not buy that. And I'm talking not a car, okay? I'm talking something small. I don't know, piece of clothing you want or something, pair of shoes. I'm going to wait a couple weeks and I'm going to sit on it and I'll make sure I really want them. And maybe you're going to wait longer. You're actually going to save for it first. You're going to practice saying no to yourself, even with small things, and build in the discipline of delaying the gratification. That is a discipline. And disciplines take practicing the muscle. You're not just going to be good at it. It's not just going to flip overnight. You are going to have to practice it and build in that discipline. Okay. So if you are someone that struggles with instant gratification, I want you to focus on that. And you are going to set rules around, I don't get to buy it because I just saw it and now I want it. I'm going to walk out of the store. I'm walking out of the store. I am not buying this. And if tomorrow, I feel like this is a clothing thing, right? Tomorrow I'm no, I did actually really want that. Then you can go back in the next couple of days and get it, but don't buy it on impulse. wait with everything and practice. You don't have to stay that way forever. You'll start to learn what you can buy on impulse and what you can wait for, right? You'll be able to start to decipher. But I think when you struggle with that, you're going to have to go a little hardcore and go all in on delaying it to practice that muscle. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to start smart savings goals. So you need to have good goals that you are going to try to reach. And these goals need to be like achievable and break them up into smaller goals. Like don't set, so that's where they're attainable, realistic, part of that acronym, but even maybe shift it down a little bit smaller. Like I want you to start a little bit smaller in reaching those goals. Okay. And set really clear goals for yourself. And then you're going to need to create a budget. That's just reality. Okay. I know, I'm sorry. And no one wants to hear everyone wants a way around that. You're not going to get a way around that. You need to know your cash flow. You absolutely need to know your cash flow of what's coming in and what's going out. Because if you don't know your cash flow, you'll never hit your goals. You won't. Because you don't even know what you're working with and you don't even know where it's going. So you have to work on your cash flow. Absolutely. And then another just small change you can make is just automate your savings and pay yourself first. So here's if you know now what your mindset is and you know the things you struggle with, pick a couple things, small things that you can work on to help push through some of those mindset issues you have that make you just a little bit uncomfortable and just grow you a little bit. And then do it again in a few months. Push yourself a little bit more for a little bit more uncomfortable and do it again and do it again and do it again until you shift some of those mindset things that are holding you back from getting to where you want to be. I hope that's helpful. I know there's a lot of feelings, a lot of thinking about yourself, which some people aren't comfortable doing. It's new. But if it is helpful, I would love to hear how you were able to kind of understand yourself more and make better goals now that you know yourself better. So, I'd love to hear how you implemented some of this into your daily life, and challenge yourself in certain ways. And always remember that if it's something a lot of this is stuff that's helpful to have accountability with and someone to talk things through. And that is all part of how I work with my clients. It is important to understand this part of yourself. And again, your spouse, if you're working with someone else with your money, because it is going to helping break down some of these barriers, is going to empower you and take you to new levels that you just didn't think you'd get to because you were stuck in that mindset. So again, hope it was helpful, and I look forward to hearing how you're able to implement it. And I hope you all have a good day, and we'll see you at the next Confident Dollar podcast episode.